Hello, hello, hello. It's me again, and once again, I have another story. I would never stop saying that the Bible is the book for life. Like anybody who has read the Bible and has read many books, I still keep reading other books. I know that with all that I have read, I always come back to the Bible as the source of divine wisdom and knowledge. And most of these books that I'm reading, you call them quote and unquote secular books. They are teaching personal development, they are teaching all kinds of things. And the principles in these books that we are all reading and getting ahead of life with, these principles are rooted in the Word of God. So several years ago, this is 13 years, going on 14 years ago, I was a young doctor who was going to start my residency training. Unfortunately for me, I delivered exactly 2 weeks before I started my training, my second child, 2 weeks. And so on the first day of school, Obapa Rosie, I've taken my bag, my laptop, everything, 2 weeks. Because my body was still trying to redistribute fluid and all that. And I went to school. And so after the first day, we did the usual introduction. This is how it's going to be. This is your new life. After everything, I went to my HOD's office. I love this man. Many respects to you, sir. He's been awesome. And then I told him that, sir, I just delivered 2 weeks ago. There's my maternity leave, excuse duty form. And so I'm not going to be around till, I think, early January or so. And then he told me that, no, the rule is that if you are going to go on maternity leave during this course, then at the end of the first year, when your mates are writing their end of first year exams, you will not write some. You'd have to wait for another 6 months and then write supplementary exams. And I was like, huh? Like I had a shock of my life. I can't take maternity leave. If I do, then I'll be punished by me having to write my exam 6 months after my mates write theirs. And if you know me very well, I don't want to ever get behind in anything in any way if I can help it. And so I went home thinking, Adi, until me become maternity leave, now my kid 6 months, my mates baby school, now me wish. Me dream hosa, I said there be any school no me come. So guess what I did? Then 13 years ago, with what I knew, the knowledge I had then, the little knowledge I had, I decided that I would leave my 2-week-old baby at home and start residency. So I went that whole week. I went Tuesday, I went Wednesday, I went Thursday, I went Friday. But by Friday, when I got home, when I looked, I said, timber. And every few hours, I had to go and change my breast pad because I milk like a cow. The milk was just flowing at work. And then I look at my son. And I knew that my son did not deserve that. That I would leave him at 2 weeks and go to school. And at that point, I made a painful decision that even if I had to wait 6 months to write my exams after my first year, I owe myself and my son that. So I stopped going to school. I stayed home for about 10 weeks or so. And then in December, when my child was older and I was better, I'd recovered from the pregnancy and all that, I went back to continue. When the time to write the end of first year exam was up, would it surprise you to learn that that conversation did not even come up? And I wrote the exam. And the conversation did not come up again because After I went back, I worked so hard that I was doing better than those who were there when I was not there. I worked hard. But I'm sure that if I had been somebody who could not catch up with what had already been learned when I was away, that thing would have caught me. This happened 13 years ago. Things have not changed much. If anything, I think they are getting worse. When it comes to female doctors and having children during residency training and all that. Don't get me wrong, this presentation is not about doctors. Me, I love my doctors fraternity. I'm a proud doctor. This is about a simple rule found in the Bible. Leviticus 19:18. Also somewhere in, I think, Matthew 22, verse 39. Love your neighbor as yourself. When Jesus gave the first commandment, love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul. The second is like unto it. Love your neighbor as yourself. And for those of you who have not yet figured it out yet, if you are looking for God, if you want to see God, if you want to know God, stand up right this very minute and go stand in front of your mirror. You will see God there. What do you think God meant when he said that your body is the temple of God? God is residing inside you and I. You are God personified. Your brother and your sister that God is talking about that you should love like yourself is also God personified. And so after you have loved God by loving you, the next commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself, because your neighbor is also a human being who has been created in the image and the likeness of God. I hope I'm not making no more to see you. More shine me. Wouldn't baby a common dinner or pemuefri or anything. You will not do it because you are going to church to worship God. Who told you that your brother who needs help is not God? Who told you? And so I'm back to the commandment, love your neighbor as yourself. There are a lot of places in this life, including institutions and all kinds of workplaces and systems that have created rules, especially here in Ghana and Africa, that are so, forgive my French, unreasonable. These rules are so unreasonable, but we have kept them there because sometimes somebody will tell you that me time no sa na etia me femusa into omo ba no mo femusa. Who told you that because you went through that kind of drama or BS somebody else should go through? Why do we think that way? Me, I have been a house help before. I'm just giving you an example. I'm no means perfect. I'm a human being. I'm a work in progress. But I'm proud of how far I've become because I've been a house help before where I was paid so little and I was using half of that money to take car in and out. I was hungry all the time. But my madam never gave me food in that house. If ever I ate from that house, it was food that they thought was spoiled. And then me, Rosie, I fell on that food. But now, many years after, when I have my own family and I've had series of house help live with me in my house, under my roof, sometimes my house help, they eat better than I do. What I eat is what everybody in my house, including my house help, will eat. And I've had house helps who have gone to school, some have gone for driving, some have learned catering, some have learned decor, all kinds. So a lot of them, immediately they finish learning, they'll go. The fact that I was somebody's house help and they took me through shit does not mean that when I become a madam like I am today, I should also be doing the same to these house helps. And that is how some of us are thinking. That is how the system was. So they too, they should go through it. It is a very faulty mentality. And if you have ever said that, please go back and think again. The fact that you went through a shitty system does not mean that people should continue going through. The world is progressive. Things are supposed to get better. And so if you came to meet an imperfect system and you went through it, I'm sorry that you went through that. But you do not keep the rules that way for others to endure the suffering you did because you went through it. You can always change the system. And why did I bring you that quotation from Leviticus 19:18? Because for every kind of injustice, for every kind of law that is not serving people well, that is not serving our interest, that we keep there, we are doing so because we don't look at other people like they are like us. Because these rules that we are talking about, if the man who made this rule sat down to think that, what if this woman, a female resident, was my wife, and my wife has just had my son, will I be happy if she was told that she can't nurse my son because if she does, she'll be punished and made to write her exams later? If this one was my wife, or my sister, or some other woman, female dear to me, how would I have felt? If it was a man that made that rule, had he thought about it like that, he probably would not have made that rule. If it was a woman who made that rule, maybe she had gone past her childbearing age. But if not, and she was also another woman who was now having children, she would have put herself in that shoes. Put yourself in the shoes and ask, if I was this person in this scenario, how would I have felt about it? If we can all use this kind of litmus test in our dealings with people and ask ourselves, mianka, mina yedi sa semi dimia, mina yedi sa ruli eremia, how would I feel? If we can apply this litmus test anytime we get to these kinds of crossroads, I am sure a lot of things will change in society. So the next time you are in a position to change a rule or to change a narrative, I need you to forget about the unfair treatment you went through. I need you to forget about anything else related to you and what has been unfair in your past life, and ask yourself, what if it was me on the receiving end? Let us learn to really, really, really love our neighbor as ourselves, because it is one of the greatest commandments. God bless you. Ciao.